Okay, welcome back after lunch. We continue with the exciting sessions. Without further ado, because we have very cramped session slots, Jan Konert presents the TI Messenger, Advancing Secure Healthcare Communication within Germany. Welcome.
Yeah, hello, welcome. Thank you very much for attending my talk about the TI Messenger, which I will be introducing to you. We have a very packed agenda, so I apologize in advance to be rushing over the topics a little bit. And without further ado, I just picked that up, it's a nice line. I'm continuing to what is actually Gematik. The Gematik is the National Digital Health Agency of Germany, a company which is responsible for providing digital applications and services to the healthcare sector and also to insured people within Germany. It has roughly 450 employees as today and was founded in 2005. The Gematik is a company which is owned by the organizations of the German healthcare system. The majority of shares is being held by the Federal Ministry of Health, and the other half is more or less divided into insurance companies, physicians, organizations, pharmacy representatives, and so on. So this is really a company run by money from the healthcare sector. The Gematik is providing a wider variety of applications, which the most of them are aiming towards professional users. You may not have heard of every one of those applications. I think very famous in this year in Germany at least was the e-prescription, the eRecept app, which is nowadays the de facto standard for prescriptions in the pharmacy. And today we will be talking about another application which is also aiming towards to everyone's use, which is the TI Messenger. By the way, TI stands for Telematic Infrastructure, which I will be also presenting to you in a little while. So what is actually the TI Messenger? It's a healthcare messenger, really, and it's nothing specially exciting about this messenger in terms of functionality, except some little tweaks, which I will be showing you. But mainly it is for secure healthcare communication. So privacy, data protection is really from the utmost importance for that messenger. And besides of that, just by the nature of the chat communication, our aim is to enhance the communication of the whole German healthcare segment. So I still have a dream to be replacing fax. But this is the ultimate game. Stands in the very end of a fight, and yeah, because nowadays, if you look into the hospitals and the pharmacy, there's still a lot of paperwork, really, in Germany at least. And the target audience for the messenger is all the professional users, nurses, physicians, pharmacies, but also every one of us who is insured in Germany. So really also all the insured people. Beside the pure messaging, we have some additional features to make the life of professional users a little bit more easy. Of course, just writing normal text messages and adding attachments and so on, I think I don't have to mention this to anyone in this room. And of course, you can create like a single chat room and group chat room and whatever you like. What is really the clue is that we have that we're aiming for the whole healthcare market. So we are not providing a messenger for a hospital or for one pharmacy also, but for the whole German healthcare system. So everyone in this healthcare system is meant to be able to start a chat with anyone else. And in order to find your chat partners, you can use a phone book, so to say, a directory of users where you can register with your Amex ID, and then you can be found by healthcare professionals or also insurance people. So basically the yellow pages of the telematic infrastructure. And then we have some convenient features for professional users. By law, they are obliged to be putting data or whatever they base their decision on into their case archive. And with the TI Messenger, you can do this. And of course, which we already, some of you might have already heard in the previous talk from Patrick Meyer, there's a very granular permission management, or who you want to allow to contact you, who you don't want to allow to contact you. All right, so the TI Messenger comes in 3 different flavors, so to say. There's one version which is really aiming towards the professional users, incorporating workflows which are required in the day-to-day business in healthcare organizations. Then we have a TI Messenger EPA. EPA stands for Electronic Patient Archive, which is an app which will be hitting the German market beginning of next year. And the next operation, maybe you've heard about the EPA für alle, which will be an application which everyone will be getting who's insured in Germany unless you opt out. And the TI Messenger will become a part of this, but only half a year later, the 15th of July of next year. Very exciting. And so that means for the run graph of Matthew, which we saw earlier, that there will be then roughly 74 million users more. Then we have the TI Messenger Connect, which is aiming towards the incorporation of the digital health applications, the so-called DiGAs. But yeah, whatever app requires this shall be allowed to be using this. All right, some very basic of the telematic infrastructure. As you can see here, the telematic infrastructure fulfills the mandate of the German Parliament by providing services and applications to insured people, to healthcare professionals, and the tool to providing this is the Gematik. So look at this, we have the regulatory requirements, which is basically a law passed by the German Parliament, the Bundestag. I'm not going into the detail, that would be a little bit tiresome for this round, I think, but basically all these laws, their mandate the body of the so-called telematic infrastructure, which are technical services, that is in the part which is shown in the circle, and also the governing part, and which is the Gematik basically, and the services we're providing. Basically how it works is the Gematik usually creates specifications. A specification is a document with architecture diagrams, requirements and guidelines, and then normally the industry develops this. And in the case of the TI Messenger, we have not asked the industry to develop it, but the industry, they can just decide on their own to do this. And if they think they have a TI Messenger, a product which is fulfilling our requirements, they can come to us to get an approval. And once they have this approval, they're allowed to host this application within the telematic infrastructure and then run it under the regulatory, under the governance of the Gematik. From a technical perspective, we see that the technical layer is divided into 2 halves. There's one area which is really aiming towards the people in Germany, like the end-to-end users. And there's a very famous example. If you are insured in Germany, in the public insurance company, you will have it. It's your Gesundheitskarte, your electronic health card, which you need in order to get treatment at a physician or a hospital. Then in the middle, there's the Electronic Patient Archive here in a mock-up, which already incorporates the TI Messenger. It's here, there, you can see it already. And then, of course, there is the e-prescription app, which you can download and use in the App Store. I recommend doing so. It's a really great app for using the prescription tool. On the other hand, we have the area where the healthcare professionals are entering the ecosystem. And they need a little bit an extra layer of security, which we call the decentral ITE zone. This mainly consists out of hardware which are located in the organizations of the healthcare system. The infamous connector, the card reader, and the e-health card. All of them have been in the media recently quite often. Of course, they are not ideal, but this is the way it works right now. And they're providing the security which is required in order to give these organizations access to patient data, right? Because the big difference here is you can access your own data And here, physicians, healthcare professionals, they can access the data of their patients. So this is theoretically more than one patient record. So this is why the extra security level is important here. Then we got the core, and the core is really the machine room of the TE. We got tons of little services, just to name a few. These are name services, time services, certification services, and so on. This is really where all the hard work is being done. All right, so how does the TA Messenger fits into all of this? Before I dive a little bit deeper into the architecture of the Messenger, I want to introduce the quality attributes of the Messenger so that you better understand the design decisions. From the utmost important for healthcare Messenger is really security and data protection. This is without the doubt the main use case of the Messenger. There's data in that messenger that must not be breached. Then very important is also the topic of the interoperability. As I already mentioned before, the industry develops a messenger, but not only one company, but any company who decides so. And we want to the whole German healthcare market to communicate with the messenger. So that basically means all the messengers, all the TI messengers, they need to be able to communicate with each other. Then, of course, we want to have a user-friendly product, which is reliable and performant. We want it to be flexible and adaptable so that companies can incorporate them into their existing solutions and health information systems. For instance, the systems you see at pharmacies or in hospitals or whatever, so that they can really have a seamless integration into their workflow. And of course, regulatory compliance is also very important. The customers or whoever is using the application needs to be sure that the product they're using is fulfilling the highest standards in data regulatory laws. All right, so this is then the picture of the architecture. I don't want to dive into each of the boxes and all these little lines, and this is why I brought a much more simpler version of it with me. In the blue box, you basically see what we call the TI Messenger Fachdienst, which is the server basically. And here you can see within that a messenger service that's in a software product and a Matrix home server. And this Matrix home server is the home server we all know. In most of the cases, it is a Synapse home server, so nothing special here. Then we see a component messenger proxy with offers an additional security level to the TI Messenger, and also a registration service, which is also there for controlling who is participating in the federation of the TI Messenger. As you can see, we've got a product called VZD Fire Directory, which acts as the yellow pages of the telematic infrastructure. And then we've got an identity services, which comes in different flavors. There's a centralized one for healthcare organizations and healthcare professionals. And there are also decentral one provided by the healthcare insurance companies for everyone. And the system supports each of them depending a little bit on the flavor, be it a professional version, the IPA version or the Connect version. But this is a simplified version. And now the slide says something which is not yet true on that slide. It says the core component of the TI Messenger. And if we really look into the architecture, then the core components of the TI Messenger are really this: the client, the Fachdienst, the services, the registration service, and the messenger proxy. Because the other products are basically Gematik products, which we just reused, which are also used by other Gematik products. All right. I said the main driver of the architecture of the TI Messenger is security. So we incorporated the Matrix protocol. We'll be using the Matrix protocol and the mechanisms of the end-to-end encryption provided by the Matrix protocol, like double ratchet and MAC-on. But additionally to this, we also added a layer of access control. And the access control works with the decentralized TE zone, which I was presenting to you earlier. So basically, you need a connector, you need a smart card, and you need an eHealth card, which runs under your name and contains some encryption, some keys. And with this, you can go to a TM Messenger provider, prove your identity, and then the TM Messenger provider, who is also having the same set of cards and decentralized ITE zone components, is allowed to write you into the so-called federation list with the domain of your Matrix home server. And that basically means from that moment on, your messenger can potentially participate in chats with the TM Messenger. And these checks are performed by the messenger proxy. So each outgoing message and each incoming message, each invite is checked in the messenger proxy if the participant is part of the federation or not. And if the person is not part of the federation, then the request is blocked and you cannot participate. So this basically controls who is participating in the chats and who's not. So we have on one hand 2 pillars, end-to-end encryption, on the other hand access control. Good. As you can imagine, if you have a setup like described before, where you have several companies all implementing the same architecture and yet meant to be interoperable, this comes with some challenges, which I want to show you here, even a showcase how the situation really is. We are only doing the specification, meaning architecture, requirements and guidelines. And then all the different companies, I call them provider because they're providing the solutions in the end. They're coming and they're developing their own products. And what you will get, of course, if you're not getting the same product, exactly the same product. You will get the same architecture. You will get products who are aiming the same purpose. They are very unique, but on the other hand, they also have their individual attributes and features. And now our job is to guarantee or to make sure that even though they are slightly different, they still work with each other, so that a pharmacy in Bavaria can chat to an emergency room in, I don't know, Hamburg, if they like to, with a completely different TM Messenger, the one being provided, for instance, by Deutsche Telekom or another one provided by Aquinet. Here on this list, I just wanted to show you the broadness of providers of the messenger solutions. We have also companies like Pharmately, we have Avato, there is Awesome Technology, CompuGroup Medical, which is a very major player in the medical IT world. There's Cosima, a little bit less known, but also important for physicians. We have the Stack IT, then there's RISE, the Deutsche Gesundheitsnetz, IBMX, and then there's a certain company which you may know, Element. All right. So this is just public information available now, and who knows what else is to come in the future. So how do we do this? How do we want to make sure that all these different solutions are able to communicate with each other? And we do this by a test master as a reference. The system, you may have found it in the internet if you've looked for it. It's called Referenzimplementierung, which is the most misleading name ever. This is just a test tool which acts as a golden master against other providers. So what you can see here in the blue cloud, in the bubble, whenever a provider comes and want to get the gematik approval for their TM Messenger, they need to run their solution against this test tool, this test reference and the test suite. For the client test, they have to incorporate something which is called a test driver interface. And then we are testing their solution against our test cases. Additionally, we also perform some manual test cases, but these are only very, very few. I think it's a 20 or something right in the moment. And only after this and providing some other documentation. Hello, they will be getting the approval. All right, now you could easily say, oh, that's nice. Now you know that there's one provider compatible with your test reference, right? But what is about the provider A being compatible with provider B, right? So this is why we do some IOP on continuous testing. On this slide, you can see we can replace the test system, the Referenzimplementierung, with any system from other providers and run them against each other. So, for instance, if I coming back to the earlier slide, if there would be a messenger from Telekom and one from Pharmately and one from Element, I could test them against each other, and they need to provide the test instances to us. This is part of the deal. All right, but then what if there are many one day, like many more? How much run scans you have? Well, then we have a concept called test pools, where we put 3 of them in a row, test them each other, and then we take a representative of each pool, put them into another pool with the representative of other parallel pools, and so on, and we can scale this quite a lot, I would say. But we are not here yet, because the market situation, I will be coming to this in 2 slides, is we are not at the hundreds at the moment. All right, additionally to that, we're also having a service provider management. I just took a picture of our control room this morning. The Gematik really governs and controls all the TE services running in the telematic infrastructure and applications, and the TE messenger is one of them. So if you get an approval for your application, you need to guarantee a certain level of a certain service quality, right? And we're controlling this. And once there's a failure or so, then we're trying to find together with the industry partners a solution for a fix. The same goes for security breaches and fixes. So if there are, for instance, something which needs to be fixed urgently, then we're really taking care that this will happen in time. If for some reason this wouldn't work, like as one specific provider constantly not reaching the performance KPIs or not playing in security features as a last resort, we could also revoke the permission, the approval of the application, and then it would not be accessible within the telematic infrastructure anymore. We can control this on a technical level, but this is really only a last resort. Very important to me to point out here in this round is that Gematik, we do not have access to healthcare records or any personal data of patients or physicians, healthcare professionals. This is really just a technical operations center eating, let's say, operations data. All right. So the market situation of today. In the year of 2024, we have 1 provider with an admission. Yeah, that's it. But there are more to be expected soon. At least this is an educated guess. And so really 2024 is the year of the first contact, and it will be getting more exciting in the year 2025. Here we can already see stage 2. The insured people will hit the market like the 15th of July 2025. The insurance companies, the public insurance companies, they are obliged to provide a TE messenger to their insured people, utilizing the electronic patient record application. And with this moment on, there will be significantly more users of the system, even though there's a smart mechanism. You will not get an account if you have never asked for it, but as soon as you have the app and you click on the button TI Messenger, and then I'm assuming there will be some questions, and as soon you have answered them, then you will have your messenger as an insured person, and then you can chat with your physician, for instance. If your physician is happening to be having a TI Messenger on its own, because the messenger itself they're not obliged to be having one. The insurance company are obliged to be giving one to you, but the physicians, for them, it's a volatile voluntary application. So we really want to convince with our functionality and with our features. All right, then step 3, probably happening somewhere in 2026, will be the DiGAs, the digital health applications, to even enable more and more use cases in the digital healthcare environment and to incorporate chat into this. If you look into the situation of the market participants, and you can see for the stage 1, I missed a very famous logo here. I'm sorry, dear sponsors of this call. There's also element, of course, stage 1, all these companies, they're providing the solutions to the healthcare professionals. And then you can already see the big difference here in comparison, stage 2. These are logos of big, major German public health insurance companies. There are more than 90 in general, so I saved the work and didn't put all the logos on this, but only the one of the biggest. There are many more. All of them will have to provide a TI messenger, but as far as I know, they're not going to develop them individually, but they're grouping together and then providing a solution. All right, TIM stage 3. We haven't yet released a specification, so we don't really know exactly how it looks like, or it will be looking like. Also, we don't really know which healthcare application would be super interesting in incorporating it. So right now, this is more or less unknown or in the realm of speculations. All right, what's the future outlook? Right now, we are really only covering the basic functionality. There are many more features in the pipe. Right now, we have in work the automation and bots, which is super useful if you want to utilize the power of bots and chatbots for healthcare communications. All the other features you see here, this is not the order of the things to come. This is just the general topics. We are right now in coordination about the order and the priority of our stakeholders. We're doing this together with pharmacists, with physicians, but also with insured people, with the politics, with all of our stakeholders. And we will be soon having the final prioritization of the features. All right. And with this, I want to thank you for attending the call. My contacts are on the slide. The slides will be provided later on. And if you have any questions, I don't know how much time we've got left.
We have 2 minutes left, basically.
2 minutes for questions. I'm all yours.
Okay, thank you very much, first of all. Okay, as I said, we have 2 minutes for question, perhaps one from the online room, which came as a German citizen. Would you be able to join the TI network with the self-hosted Matrix instance, or are there only going to be approved instances that are basically allow listed?
Approved instances, yes.
Okay. So, quick question, quick answer. Thank you very much. And we have the next question from the middle of the room.
Hi there. I'm assuming you have some sort of security auditing organization involved here. Is there any way that you can feed that back to the Matrix.org Foundation or Element, like things that they discover? Could they feed back upstream?
Yes, of course, and we already did so. So we, Gematik, for instance, provided an audit to both OLM and Widosum libraries. And the feedback was provided, of course, to the manufacturers and the community. And there are also other examples. But we are, in our very nature, open source. So this is, I mean, not the industry products, but for instance, our test instance is open source, or our specification is open source. Yeah.
Okay, we have one last question, I think, and then time's up.
Yeah, thank you very much. You talked about the complexity of ensuring that all the messengers are compatible with each other. So Matrix, in its nature, is already decentralized. So why not provide one single solution that can be deployed by the individuals, at least for the back end, and just keep it that way? Why have it developed like many times, basically?
Well, it was basically a political decision to enabling the market model for the solution to motivate everyone to bring its creativity into the ecosystem, and to have multiple organizations always developing the same.
Okay, so thank you very much. The next talk is going to remain in the medical area, so keep seated while we switch over microphones and all that. And thank you very much for your talk.
Thank you.